This is the sliding table saw that I told you about. I think you guys, some of you have used this, some of you have seen it. I just wanted to give you another demonstration on it. This video is going to end up leading to another video, which will be posted at a later date. This sliding table saw sled, it's gliding on ball bearings, so it's super slick. It's super accurate. You can set it to different degrees. You would loosen up this knob here, and then as you can see here, we have some different indicators for angles, so I can actually change that angle. Okay, I can go back to just a cross cut. So if I had a big tabletop I wanted to cut down, I could put it against my fence here and cross cut through. We are going to do a miter, okay, and we're doing a four-sided object. So each corner has to equal 90 degrees, but there's two parts to that corner. So each degree is equal to how much, and that'll be a question for you to answer later on. I'm not going to say it out loud, but you're going to see me set it and give you the answer right now. So move this back now to, oops, it's set in its spot. Move this back to this degree, which is the answer to the question I just asked you, which will probably be on a Google form later. But right there, you can probably see it. And if you can't see it, you probably should know what it is anyways. And then I want to lock this in, okay? Now I want to double check that my measurement's perfect. So I want to grab some sort of a square. And you should know the name of this square if you don't already. But it looks like this, okay? It's called a speed square. Okay, they call this actually a rafter square, but it's actually technically a speed square. So now what I want to do is I want to make sure that's perfectly 45 degrees. So I can take this tight against my fence, and then if I'm looking right at that, I should see equal gap. Now if you look at that, I have a bigger gap on the back side than on the front. So to me, that means that this needs to turn this way, just a scotch. And a scotch, if you don't know, is a technical term. Just joking. I can also reference this to the fence for a more flat area, because I know my fence is parallel, okay, to the blade. But see how I'm tight to here and I'm sliding in, and I'm not quite touching there. So that means I got to go back just a little bit. Probably overcompensated and moved it too much, so move that back to 45. Oh, there was the answer. And then I'll check that again. And now we're perfectly nice, perfectly in line all the way across there. Now the nice thing about this sliding compound, or this sliding table saw sled, is that it has stops on it, okay? Now the stops, the measurement on there is not accurate for doing mitered cuts. It's accurate for doing 90-degree cuts, okay? So we're gonna wanna probably just guess. It doesn't really matter for this, is just demonstration. I do wanna lower my blade. That's very high. About a quarter of an inch above. I do not need my rip fence, so I can completely move this out of the way. So I'm gonna move it all the way over to one side there. And all I wanna do in this first cut is just do what's called a skim cut. So you guys should know that. But I'm just gonna cut just a little bit off so that I cut all the way through. Okay, it looks like my stop's gonna be right about somewhere there, but I'm not gonna worry about that now. I'll just set it right here to 14, doesn't really matter, okay? So I'm gonna do a skim cut on all of them first, or at least the ones that are the same length. So I'll start it up. This is kind of a weird position because you can't be here and keep it tight. You almost have to kind of straddle or stand to the right over here, excuse me, to the left of the table saw. But the key with this is you want to keep it flat to that fence there, okay? You don't want it coming away, because if it's away from the fence, am I at my designated degree there? No, I am not. So I'm going to keep it tight to that fence. Make sure your sleeves are rolled up. Anything else like that, safety glasses are on. Start it up, and then I'm just gonna cut just a little bit, holding it tight with both hands. Just gonna cut straight through. And then once I get all the way through, I wanna slide to the left and then bring it back. Now don't fiddle with that, okay, let that be. Then I'm gonna do 2 of these at this length, so I'll just do another little skim cut. Now if you don't happen to hit it and cut it all the way through, it's not the end of the world, you just bring it back. You cut a little more off. And then you skim a little more off. Okay, now that's gonna cause some problems, so we're gonna get that out of the way there. And now I'm at an exact point, as you can see there. And then I'll do the same thing on these, just do a little skim cut. Now, those pieces right there are not likely to kick back, okay? Because they're not bound between anything. If there was something pushing against them, then yes, they would probably kick back. But because they're not bound between anything, they're not likely at all to kick back. However, to remove them, we want to make sure we shut off our saw. Wait for it to stop completely, and then you can remove them. And then you can put them in the trash can.